Hi, my name is Carter Moss. I'm the champion of small groups here across all our campuses here at Community. And as we begin on this journey of all our small groups really being on mission together, engaging with our world, helping people find the way back to God, I just want to talk to you for a few minutes about some of the tough questions or challenges you might face as we get into this whole thing. So let's tackle a few of those. For instance, if your group decides to be on mission by partnering with an existing nonprofit organization, you might run into a few barriers. Maybe they're going to be slower to respond than what you thought they would be. Maybe they won't seem quite as excited to partner with you as you kind of hoped that they would be. Just remember going into it that our purpose here as a church, as a group of people, is to serve these organizations. We can't go in with our own kind of agenda, expectations. We need you guys to make it easy and work well for us. Well, we want to go in very humbly with a posture of serving. And remember to be patient with these organizations. If a lot of them are nonprofits, they can't afford to have someone whose sole job is to figure out ways for existing churches to kind of serve with them. So you got to give them some time, be willing to work with them. Also, remember that a lot of these organizations may have had some poor experiences in the past working with other churches, other Christians, or any kind of volunteer, really. And so part of what we can accomplish through partnering with them is helping kind of redefine that, giving them some good experiences. So we might have to go in facing a little bit of resistance, but that's okay. Just keep after it, be humble about it. I think God can really use you in it. A couple other tough questions maybe people in your group would ask. You might have people push you back a little bit saying, isn't this going to take away from what we're already doing as a group? I love how we grow together spiritually. I love how we're connecting relationally. I don't want to lose all that because we're out there serving. Honestly, I believe that if we take seriously this idea of being on mission together as a group, it's actually going to enhance those things. I mean, think about it. When you're out serving together with people, it's drawing your relationships even closer. I think you're going to have even a tighter sense of community. And I'm telling you, when you're out there on the front line serving together in mission, you can't help but have spiritual growth, discipleship come along with that. When you're out there getting asked the tough questions, I think people are going to be begging to come back to small group discussion, saying, hey, come on, I want to dig into this, dig into the Bible. I want to wrestle with these questions because people are asking these now. It can actually create even more urgency for spiritual growth and for community when you're out there serving in mission together. So I don't see it having to take away from those things at all. All right, another tough question you might get asked is, honestly, people saying, that's a great idea, I'm inspired by it, but honestly, I just don't have time. I mean, I'm already busy enough. I'm already giving up one night of the week for small group. Now, another night, got to be serving together. Listen, we're not out to add more to people's schedules. And in fact, if we don't help people create margin in their lives, this whole thing isn't going to work. And so remember to keep margin as a priority. Now, what does that mean for your small group? I don't know for sure, but it could mean, let's say, if you're serving this week, then maybe your group doesn't meet for its regular kind of group meeting that week, right? I know groups in the neighborhood where I live in, they actually meet every other week because on the off weeks, they're out serving in the neighborhood together. And maybe your group would want to get into some different kinds of rhythms. But make sure to talk about it. Let your group members know that you're not out to kind of pile more onto their schedule. And maybe as you identify your mission, you find a mission that fits in with the normal rhythms of life already. If everyone's already busy taking their kids to soccer, they don't have another free night, maybe that's your mission. And investing in the other parents at the soccer practice, soccer games. Right? So find these things that fit into the rhythms of your life so that you have the margin to be able to do mission. We're not out to make people, too busy to be able to do this stuff. One more question you might get asked or might have to kind of face as a group is, what if you feel like we're not seeing any results yet? I mean, this whole thing is just taking longer than what we thought. We've been at it for 6-9 months now, and I don't know, we don't have any great missional stories to tell. Remember, we don't know what the time frame is going to be. There's no formula to this thing. We're just trying to be obedient to God. Say, God, we want to be on mission with you. See what you're going to do through it. Remember, too, that results aren't just about do people end up at church, do we end up getting to baptize them? Well, certainly we hope that that's part of what God's going to be able to do. But remember that part of what God might be doing is that he's doing work in your group members. So that could be the results that he's doing for a while. Just watching people's whole kind of posture change and their spiritual walk deepen. It's not all about kind of these end results, but what is God doing along the way while you're on mission together? So remember not to be too focused on just kind of end results. Just go into the whole thing saying, God, we don't even know exactly what you're going to do. We just want to partner with you and follow you in this whole thing. I think at the end of the day, we don't want to let all these what ifs paralyze us. We could debate these things as a small group, all the reasons why we shouldn't start on this mission, or here's what it could do, what if, what if, what if. I think we just got to take that step of faith, get started, engage in mission, let God guide it through that. And we can engage in this idea of action, reflection, learning. Rather than feel like we got to do all the learning first and then we'll go be on mission, let's just start being on mission together and constantly reflect on it, right? Take action and reflect. Take action and reflect. Continue to talk together as a group. What's God doing in us? What's he doing through us? What are we learning? All right, so don't let all the what ifs and kind of the fears paralyze you from getting started. And I guess the final thing I'd want you to remember about it is that it is going to be hard and it is going to get messy. Some things are going to happen that we didn't expect, and we don't know how to count it and measure it, and what do we do with it? And that's okay. I think part of following God is being on an adventure with God. I believe that mission often is messy, but I also believe that the rewards of it, that the things that we'll get to see God do through us, the ways he's going to develop us as Christ followers, it's going to be so worth taking the risks, entering into the messiness, pushing through the obstacles. It's going to be so worth it. God's going to give each of us this missional story to tell. And we're going to see him do things through our small group that we maybe never would have seen if we would have kept just kind of sitting in the living room together. Things that we couldn't have anticipated. So I'm saying let's go after these missions together with our small group and see what God does through us. All right? Good luck. We'll be praying for you guys.